And that's just another day in Canada for you folks. Did you know that here in Canada, what Americans call the letter Z, we pronounce that letter Z? That's a true fact. I was talking to an American friend the other day and they thought I was joking when I told them that, but it is true. WXYZ. We also spell color with a U, favorite, neighbor. But today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Canva. A little bit more on them in just a bit, but for now, let's talk about this salad. Now, of course, this is not a cooking channel. However, we are going to be cooking up We're going to be creating a fake super slow motion effect. Now, why would you want to create a fake super slow motion effect? Well, for starters, real slow motion is very difficult to get because the cameras that do that are very, very expensive. Super slow motion in your video is useful because it creates what we call tension. Not the upsetting and stressful kind of tension, more like the suspenseful and intriguing kind, the kind that makes your viewer want to keep watching your video because they want to see what's going to happen. When you can create tension, you create engagement, and engagement is a good thing no matter what kind of video you're making. And the beauty of the fake super slow-mo effect that I'm going to be showing you today is that you can do it with just about any camera, so you do not need to invest in tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. So I've got this nice little set already laid out on this coffee table. We've got our salad in a nice wooden salad bowl, some coasters, a fake plant, a bowl, and a cup. Now we're gonna start by taking this big tripod here and use it as an overhead rig. You can use whatever you want as an overhead rig, but this is what I have with me. Now you might remember from last video, our little sunset lamp through the glass trick. We're gonna turn that on to get some ambient light. Looking good. Now while this camera is rolling, we're gonna grab the focus ring and we're going to pull focus away from the bowl so that the plane of focus comes up towards the camera. So you can see here that pretty much everything on the table is in focus, and we're just gonna grab our focus ring and pull the focus towards the camera nice and smooth. Now you can see when I bring my hand in the frame that the focus is up here rather than down there towards our salad. All right, so we've got a tomato here and now we just need a slice. So we'll take off the sticker and we need a pretty thick slice. So we're gonna cut here. And as you can see, that is pretty thick. We're gonna use a paper towel to pat it dry just a little bit. And now we're gonna take the skewer from the dollar store and just stick it through our tomato. We don't need it this long, so you can grab a pair of scissors and just give it a cut. And there you go, tomato lollipop. Gross. Now for the next shot, I'm gonna be using the Edelkrone Pan Pro to rotate the tomato. You do not necessarily need one of these. You can use any Lazy Susan or rotating device to turn your object. In the past, I've even used a cow print bar stool. Now with the tomato on a turntable in front of a blue screen, we now have our camera set up with the tomato in the middle of the frame. We're gonna hit record and now we will just rotate our tomato. I'm gonna let it do 2 full rotations and now we can end our recording. Now, we all know that making content can be difficult and time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be. As of late, I've been switching up my own workflow and I've been creating a ton of content within Canva. Canva is completely free to use, but you do have the option to upgrade to Canva Pro for a whole bunch of other time-saving features and tools. For example, all of my projects start by creating a brand kit to ensure that all of my fonts, logos, and color palettes are organized. I simply upload them to the brand kit page, and from there, I can make any kind of content I want, whether that's short videos, Instagram posts, YouTube thumbnails, or even TikToks, and all of my assets are readily available to be accessed when I need them. One of my favorite features of Canva Pro is that you can easily remove the background from any photo with a single click of a button. And when you're done creating one post, you can use the magic resize tool to automatically change the size of your project to whatever else you might need. If you would like to try 45 free days, yes, 45 free days of Canva Pro, you can go to the link in the description below or go to canva.me/DanielS. Okay, so here are the 2 shots we just got for our effect. This is Final Cut Pro X, and we've got both clips down here in our timeline. We're gonna start by working on our first clip, which is that top-down background shot. As you can see, the shot starts in focus, and as we scrub through, it goes out of focus, but we actually want the opposite of this, so I'm gonna hit Command R on my keyboard and reverse the clip. Now that the clip is reversed, you can see that it starts out of focus and then comes into focus. I'm gonna hit Command R once again on my keyboard and slow this down to 80% speed. Now this is the point where I need to decide how long the final shot is going to last. Now, assuming that the final effect that we're going to be achieving here is for a larger video, we don't actually need it to last very long, maybe about 2 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the clip where it starts to come into focus, and then at around the 2-second mark, I'm going to make another cut. So now you can see when we play our clip back, it's about 2 seconds long. The next thing I want to do is add a zoom in to this clip. So I'm going to bring the playhead back to the start and set a keyframe on our scale at 100%. Bringing our playhead to the end of the clip, I'm going to set another keyframe on our scale to 120%. And what we've effectively done here is created the illusion that the camera is actually getting closer to the bowl. When you combine the real focus pull that we got in camera with the zoom that we added in post, we get something that looks like a very realistic push in. And this is going to be very helpful in selling our final effect. Now, before we move on, I just want to add a quick color grade. And now we're good to go ahead and move on to our second clip. So here is our rotating tomato. And as you can see, the rotation is actually very slow and I want to speed it up quite a bit. Hitting Command R on the keyboard, I'm going to speed it up to 800%. This might sound really fast, but it's actually not that bad when you consider how slowly we were rotating that tomato. From here, I just need to grab a portion of the clip that I like and cut it down to the same size as our previous clip. And now we have them stacked on top of each other. Before going any further, I'm going to add a quick color grade to our tomato shot. This will make the blue background easier to key out. And the next thing we're going to do is crop out all the excess stuff that isn't part of the blue screen. So I'm going to go into my crop tools here and just bring this up. Can bring the left side in as well as the right side and the top. All that's remaining now is our blue screen and a bit of that skewer. So before we key this, let's go ahead and address the skewer. Let's bring our playhead back to the start of the clip, go into our effects here and search for draw mask, drag that on top. And now we're just going to create a little drawing around our toothpick and invert the mask. I'm going to add a keyframe to our control points, scrub through to the end of the clip and fix our mask. And we'll also make a few more minor adjustments until we get something that looks clean. And once our mask is finished, this is what we get. Now it's time to key out that blue screen. We're going to go into our effects here and type in keyer. We'll drag that onto our tomato clip and automatically it will remove that blue screen. But you can see we end up with this weird sort of outline around our tomato. That's no big deal. We just need to go into our matte tools in our keyer effect and shrink our edge down just a bit until that is gone. Looking good. And now to just blend everything together a little bit better, we can use the light wrap and put it up to about 20%. And I'll play this back to show you what we're working with. You can see that this is looking pretty good, but it doesn't have that kind of realistic look yet. So let's bring our playhead back to the start and select our tomato clip. Let's increase our scale all the way to 250% and set a keyframe. We'll also adjust the position to be a little bit more centered. Grab our playhead, drag it to the end of the clip and set another keyframe on our scale at 90%. This decrease in scale creates the illusion that the tomato is falling and getting further away, but we're not quite done yet. So let's bring that playhead back to the start and we're going to set a keyframe on our rotation and we're going to push that up to about 125 degrees. We'll set a keyframe on our scale and adjust that as well. Go to our end keyframe and we'll also set another keyframe on our rotation as well as our position, and I'll decrease our rotation to about -25 degrees. I'll go ahead and fix our position while we're at it, and here's what it looks like with that rotation added. And now the last thing I want to do to really sell this effect is add some blur on our tomato. So I'm going to go into our effects here and type in Gaussian. I'm going to drag that onto our clip. With the playhead at the start here, we'll make sure that our blur, the amount is set to about 10%, and we're going to make a keyframe. I'm going to scrub through here, and just shortly after the start of the clip, we're going to bring that blur all the way down to 0 so that it's nice and sharp. And then we'll scrub through to the end of the clip. And on our last frame, we'll bring that blur back up to about 10. By adding these keyframes on our Gaussian blur, what we've basically done is started with the tomato out of focus. As it falls a little bit, it comes into focus right here. And then as it gets further away from the camera, it gets out of focus again as the focus switches to the salad that's on the table. Obviously a very short and sweet effect. This isn't meant to last very long. You can also customize how long you want it to last, how slow or fast you want your object to fall. These are all things you can customize based on your own videos. But this is a really neat effect and a cool way to draw attention to your subject and to create tension within your video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at daniel.schiffer, and I will see you guys in the next video.